Hey, before I get started, if you would humor me, my kids think I'm a total loser. They don't think that I come to London and do speeches in front of a couple hundred people. So I'm going to do a little selfie here with y'all in the back. If everyone could just wave and say hi. Thank you. That'll justify my trip over here for missing a couple games and stuff like that. I think this conference and the people gathered in this room in particular are a testament to one fact, and that is that TV is not dead, although there's been a lot of talk about TV advertising in particular being on life support. I would say it's changing, it's evolving. In many aspects, it's getting better, but it's not dead. But it is under attack. And that attack is coming primarily from two players. If you think about the ad space in general, total advertising dollars, the total advertising pie is growing in the low single-digit percentage range year over year. But digital continues to grow in that 20% range. And if you look at the first quarter of 2016, of the roughly $3 billion of digital growth, which again was primarily a share shift from other places, in many cases television, 90% of that growth came from Google and Facebook. Two players captured 90% of that growth in the first quarter of this year. And without question, those two players are coming after traditional TV dollars. We know that, whether it's Facebook Live or their recent announcement to get into the connected TV advertising realm, or whether it's Google through YouTube or their seemingly never-ending desire to eradicate set-top boxes. These two players are coming hard at our business, and us as TV, primarily TV ad sales folks, or at least TV ecosystem owners. We need to take that attack seriously. Now, why is it? Why is it that this is happening? Well, besides the fact that's pretty obvious, this is where the money is, let's give them credit. They are running the playbook that has worked very well in digital, and they're going to attempt to run that playbook in television, or at least in digital video. It's a pretty simple equation. When you combine data and targeting and attribution, those things have really become table stakes in the advertising ecosystem today. There's things that they are very, very good at. So why wouldn't they feel compelled to come into this space? And by the way, when you look at a survey that Adweek did earlier this year, this is an area, these areas I'm talking about are where TV is lacking. 80% of ad buyers surveyed said they can't target well enough on television. And not only do we know that they want to target more effectively, but 2/3 of those surveyed either agreed or strongly agreed with the statement that there is too much waste in TV media. And we know they mean that, obviously, because they vote with their wallets, right? And we see that in another survey question, a full 2/3 of them expect to decrease their spend on TV advertising into the future. And I would say that's all to the benefit of those two key players that I mentioned earlier, Google and Facebook. So this is where I think addressable TV comes in. This is where TV addressability comes into play. At AT&T, we firmly believe that addressable television is the future of TV advertising. And we firmly believe that addressable TV at scale creates a viable competitor to Google and Facebook. And in the spirit of speaking with our wallets, we've been spending a lot of money lately, as you all have seen. We are investing heavily in this space. Most recently, you probably saw last week, through a joint venture with Dish and WPP, we're going to acquire NVIDIA Technologies, which is a key provider of addressable TV solutions. It's the solution that we use and the solution that Dish uses today. So we've spent a lot of money here, and we're going to be aggressive going forward. We're going to continue to push hard in this space. By the way, when I say addressable TV, I mean addressable. There are a lot of data-driven linear solutions in the market today that claim to be addressable. And by the way, I'm a big believer in those solutions. In fact, we have one ourselves that we brand TV Blueprint. But what I'm talking about in particular today is being able to deliver a specific ad, a unique ad, to a specific house in the same commercial break on the same network or channel. And we do this today by either matching to households. We either match demographic attributes to households, or ever increasingly, we're matching custom lists that are provided from advertisers to us to match to households. In fact, roughly a third of our addressable campaigns today involve custom list matches as opposed to just demographic type matches. And as mentioned, this business continues to double for us. It doubled last year. It's going to double again this year. We have big plans for it in the coming years. So we are very, very bullish on this business for the future. And I say that because in the U.S., we have over 50 million households that are now addressable. So we're approaching half of the ecosystem, the pay TV ecosystem. And while it's a good start, we know that more scale is needed. And the good news is more scale is coming. So we are very optimistic about what this market looks like in the next 2 to 3 years. We think it continues to grow, and key to that will be this expanded scale as the other MVPDs in the U.S. in particular build out their addressable capabilities. So I've spent the majority of my comments so far talking about TV in particular, but we're not naive to realize that all of us and all the consumers in our respective countries are beginning to consume video on other screens. And we believe this really gives marketers a great opportunity to find the same consumer, not only on that TV screen in the living room, but across screens as they consume video content in many different ways. So if you think about this concept of cross-screen addressability, it's not new. It's been table stakes in the digital world for years now, but what cross-screen in that context means is computers and smartphones, or computers and tablets. The screen that has sort of been conspicuously absent from a cross-screen conversation historically has been the biggest screen, the TV screen in the living room. We've recently, though, moved from beta to full market launch on a cross-screen addressable solution that actually includes the TV screen in the home. And similar to the slide that I showed earlier, what we do is we match a particular target audience to our addressable TV households, of which currently AT&T has 14 million addressable households in the U.S., and that's growing. It's up from 2 million just a year ago, so we grow that. But we match this target audience to our addressable households, but then we also match that same target audience to the devices associated with those TV homes. One way we do that is through a partnership that we have with Opera MediaWorks, which gives us access to mobile video inventory in tens of thousands of mobile apps. And then another way we do it is through our own TV Everywhere content, so we can do an addressable ad to not only the television set in the home, but the mobile devices as they consume that TV Everywhere content, whether in the home or out of the home. And by this time next year, all of our owned and operated content at AT&T will be enabled for cross-screen addressability. It's something that we're very optimistic about. And as you might imagine, measurement is a real key to this offering. The targeting is one thing, and it's critical, but the measurement is a key component. And the first cross-screen campaign that we actually did was with AT&T Mobility. We often get asked the question as we're in front of buyers, do you drink your own champagne? Does AdWorks do this for AT&T's billions of dollars of ad spend? And the answer is yes. We're doing a lot more of that, and cross-screen is an area where we're going to be very aggressive with our own mobility team. They came to us and said, look, we want to cross-screen target customers or potential customers that are not AT&T Mobility customers. So think of it as addressable homes that don't have AT&T Mobility for their wireless service. So we did a household match to our addressable TV households. And we delivered addressable TV ads to the big screen as well as to the mobile devices associated with those same homes. And what we do is we hold out a control group, as most of you are familiar with, and this control group didn't receive the ad either on the television set or on the mobile device. And we calculated the buy rate using internal data. Of those addresses, how many of them actually became an AT&T wireless customer over a period of time? And that became our control group. And then we delivered the campaign, and we measured, okay, of the households that only received the television ad, how many of them, what percentage of them converted to become AT&T wireless customers ultimately? And again, we know this from first-party data because we're going to end up sending a wireless bill to this household. And the good news for all of us in this room who are TV lovers is for those that only received the addressable TV ad, they converted at a 19% higher rate than those that didn't see an ad at all. But to support this cross-screen concept, we saw a 27% lift in buy rate for customers that actually received the ad not only on their TV screen at home, but on their mobile device through one of the apps served by Opera MediaWorks in this case. So that additional reach, that additional lift that we saw has fueled this was the first campaign we did, so it really fueled our efforts to sort of move from beta and move into full market launch, and we've got dozens of more customers currently running campaigns with us right now. So it's been a great success story. In fact, in the spirit of you can't make this stuff up, literally on the flight over here, I was catching up on some reading, and there was a Media Post article that had come out earlier this week, and in this case, it was Starcom Media Group that had been doing some testing of our cross-screen adjustable solutions. In fact, we weren't even aware that they were doing this. And the quote from one of their executives was "We think addressable is where the industry is heading. There's a lot of innovation happening in addressable, trying to expand reach by identifying and delivering messaging to households across both TV and mobile has been very key for us, and in the last 6 months, we will continue to do so." So again, that was something that caught me by surprise, frankly, just on the flight over here, but further expanding upon the success that other agencies, WPP in particular as well, have been seeing with this cross-screen addressable capability. So I'll wrap up my comments by summarizing the benefits of addressable. First of all, it's efficient. There's zero waste when you're looking at TV addressability. It's effective because you're only reaching your target audience, and it's accountable. This matching process that I described allows us to determine lift and calculate ROI and provide meaningful insights back to advertisers and or their agencies. So I'll reiterate, we are very bullish on this business. We've invested a lot, and we're going to continue to invest, and we're continuing to be bullish on the future of this. We're driven at AdWorks to be the leader in cross-platform, addressable advertising and insights. We feel like we have a good head start here, and it's going to be our key focus priority as we move forward. So thank you for your time today. I appreciate it. And I don't know if there were going to be time for questions or no. I'll whatever you'd want to do.
Yeah, take some questions.
My name is Shirley Danary from Amdocs. I have two questions. Hopefully there's time for both. We heard Erwin Gottlieb said earlier that one of the challenges in the industry is a lack of collaboration between the distributors and the networks. And obviously with the acquisition of Time Warner, I was curious how much you were going to implement actually addressable also on the linear of the Time Warner, and whether that could be a significant break in the industry or a significant driver for change.
Yeah, I think the first significant break is going to be when all the MVPDs build out the capability. And here's why I say that. Today, we don't have a supply problem for addressable, we have a demand problem. Even within our 2 minutes that we get in the US as a distributor, we don't come anywhere close to using all 2 minutes for our addressable campaigns. So today, we don't need any more supply of inventory in order to better fulfill addressable. The problem, it comes on the demand side, and I think the demand is lower than it will be because we don't have scaled distribution across all the MVPDs. So once we get to a point where there are 70, 80, 90 million homes that are addressable, then I think what happens is you start to create a lot more demand. We start to pull real dollars, probably from other sources of ad spend, and we start to exhaust that current 2 minutes of inventory. When that happens, then you have to go get more supply, and I think that's where you'll see a capability to start enabling addressability for broadcast and cable networks at that point.
Thank you. And The second question is related to the cross-channel. You gave a very interesting example of the AT&T advertising results. My question was, how much of that is just cross-channel targeting versus specific ad sequencing and orchestration, and whether that plays a big part in that?
Today, so right now, we do just targeting and frequency capping. We haven't done sequencing yet in the cross-screen solution, but that's sort of next on the roadmap. It's in high demand, which is probably evident by your question, and so that's definitely next step of the roadmap, is to actually be able to sequence and potentially even use different creative in that sequencing. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.